Let me ask you a question. What is the very first thing you feel when you swing your legs out of bed in the morning? Is it a sense of readiness for the day ahead? Or is it a familiar, unwelcome ache in your feet, a stiffness in your heel, or a deep throb in your arch that makes those first few steps a careful, painful negotiation with the floor? If you're nodding your head right now, please know you are not alone. And if you've ever told yourself, well, this is just a part of getting older, I'm here today to respectfully but firmly challenge that idea. My name is Dr. Evans, and I'm a podiatrist. For years, I've sat with people just like you, retired teachers, former nurses, avid gardeners, grandparents who just want to keep up with the little ones without wincing. They share a common frustration. They feel like their world is slowly shrinking, one painful step at a time. The daily walk with a friend gets shorter. The time spent in the garden is cut in half. The simple joy of being on your feet becomes a source of dread. They search online for answers and are bombarded with promises of reversing age-related pain, of curing their arthritis overnight. And as a medical professional, I have to be honest with you. That's not how it works, and those promises can lead to disappointment and distrust. Here is the truth, the kind of truth we'd discuss if you were sitting here in my office. Conditions that often cause foot pain in older adults, like osteoarthritis, are degenerative. That's a medical term that simply means we can't turn back the clock on the wear and tear in the joint. We cannot reverse it. But, and this is the most important word you will hear today, that does not mean you are helpless. It does not mean you have to accept a life of pain. It means we need to shift our goal from a fantasy cure to a powerful, achievable reality: management. We can manage the symptoms. We can improve your function. We can reduce the pain and give you back the freedom of movement you deserve. That is the entire purpose of this video today. We are going to bypass the hype and the quick fix promises. Instead, I'm going to be your trusted guide through 5 simple, podiatrist-approved stretches. These aren't flashy, they aren't complicated, but they are foundational. They are designed to directly address the mechanical issues that contribute to the most common types of age-related foot pain. We're going to talk about why each one works, how to do it safely and correctly, and how to build a simple routine that can make a profound difference in your daily life. And just a quick but important reminder, while I am a podiatrist, this video is for educational purposes and is not a substitute for personal medical advice. The information we're about to cover is a wonderful starting point, but if your pain is severe, persistent, or worsens, it is absolutely crucial to see a healthcare professional in person for a proper diagnosis and a treatment plan tailored specifically to you. Your feet are complex, and you deserve individualized care. So, if you're ready to stop just enduring the pain and start actively managing it, let's begin. Let's begin our journey with our 5th and perhaps most overlooked strategy for improving foot health: simple ankle mobility. Now, you might be thinking, "Doc, my feet hurt, not my ankles." But I want you to think of your foot and ankle as an intricate, interconnected system. If one part isn't moving correctly, it puts tremendous stress on all the other parts. Imagine the hinge on a heavy door. If that hinge is rusty and stiff, you have to yank and shove the door to get it open, which puts a lot of strain on the door itself and the door frame. Your ankle is the primary hinge for your foot. When it loses its smooth, fluid range of motion due to age, inactivity, or mild arthritis, every single step you take forces the smaller, more delicate joints and tissues in your foot to compensate. They move in ways they weren't designed to, absorbing forces they shouldn't have to. Over time, this creates inflammation, strain, and pain. So, by simply restoring some gentle motion to that main hinge, we can take a huge burden off the rest of your foot. This brings us to our fifth exercise, ankle circles. This is something you can do sitting in your favorite chair while you watch the news or listen to the radio. Sit comfortably with your feet flat on the floor. Now lift one foot just a few inches off the ground. Very slowly and deliberately, begin to trace a circle in the air with your big toe. I want you to focus on making the movement come from your ankle joint, not from your leg. Imagine there's a pencil on the end of your toe, and you're drawing the smoothest, roundest circle you can. Do about 10 to 15 circles in one direction, nice and slow. Then reverse it. Trace 10 to 15 circles in the other direction. You might hear some light clicking or popping. As long as it's not accompanied by pain, that's generally just the joint moving through its range. Once you're done, place that foot down and repeat the entire process with the other foot. The goal here isn't strength or speed, it's fluidity. It's about gently reminding that rusty hinge how to move smoothly again. The red flag to watch for here would be any sharp pain during the rotation, or a significant painful clicking that feels like something is catching. If you experience that, it's a sign that you should have it checked out by a professional before continuing. By dedicating just a minute or two each day to this simple movement, you're not just helping your ankles, you're protecting your feet from a great deal of unnecessary compensatory stress. From the master hinge of the ankle, we now move down into the foot itself to address the unsung heroes of your arch. This brings us to our fourth exercise, which is designed to wake up and strengthen the very muscles that form your foot's natural support system. Let's talk about the towel scrunch. Think of this as weightlifting for your arches. So many of us, myself included, have spent a lifetime cramming our feet into supportive, often rigid shoes. While shoes are important, they can also act like a cast, causing the small, intrinsic muscles inside our feet to become lazy and weak. When these muscles, the ones that run along the bottom of your foot and help hold up your arch, are weak, the arch can begin to flatten. This puts a massive strain on the plantar fascia, that thick band of tissue on the bottom of your foot, leading to pain and fatigue. I had a patient, a lovely woman named Carol, who was an avid baker and loved spending hours in her kitchen. She came to me because by the end of the day, her arches ached so badly she could barely walk. We looked at her shoes. We talked about inserts. But the real game changer for her was reactivating these dormant muscles. The towel scrunch was her homework. Here's how you do it. Sit in a chair with your feet flat on the floor. Place a small hand towel on the floor in front of you, with the short end facing you. Now, keeping your heel firmly on the ground, use only your toes to try and grab the towel and pull it, or scrunch it, towards you. Your heel acts as an anchor. Just use your toes. Curl them, grab a piece of the towel, and pull it back. Release. Reach your toes forward again, and repeat. Keep going until you've scrunched the entire towel up under your foot. Then use your toes to push it back out flat, and start again. Do this 2 or 3 times for each foot. You will feel those muscles in your arch working, maybe even getting a little tired. That's a good thing. As physical therapists have known for decades, this simple exercise is one of the most effective ways to rebuild that natural internal support system. The red flag here would be any sharp cramping in your arch or toes that doesn't subside with rest. A little fatigue is normal, but sharp, persistent pain is not. By performing this simple scrunch, you're not just doing a random exercise. You're actively rebuilding the very foundation of your foot, one little pull at a time. Now that we've started to build strength in the arch with that scrunching motion, it's time to focus on dexterity and control which are vital for balance and stability. This leads us to our third exercise, a two-part movement that requires no equipment at all: toe spreads and curls. Think of the small muscles in your feet like the core muscles of your body. When your abdominal core is strong, it supports your spine and improves your posture. Similarly, when the small intrinsic muscles in your feet are strong and responsive, they support your arches and provide a stable base for your entire body, which is critical for preventing falls. Many of us have toes that are so used to being packed together in shoes that they've forgotten how to move independently. They function as one single unit. This exercise is about reteaching them how to be individual functional digits. For the first part, the toe spread, I want you to sit comfortably in a chair with your foot resting flat on the floor. Now, without lifting your foot, try to spread your toes apart as wide as you can. Imagine you're trying to create space between each and every toe. Hold that spread for about 5 seconds, really focusing on the feeling of activation. Then, relax. You might find this surprisingly difficult at first. Your toes might not move much at all, and that's perfectly okay. It's the effort and the signal from your brain to the muscle that counts. Repeat this spread and relax motion 10 times. Now for part 2, the toe curls, which is different from the towel scrunch. Keeping your foot flat on the floor, simply try to curl your toes downward, as if you're trying to grip the floor, but without letting your toes lift off. The main knuckles of your toes should press down into the floor. Hold that gentle curl for 5 seconds, and then relax. Repeat this 10 times as well. I had a patient, a gentleman, who loved to go fishing on a rocky riverbank. He told me he always felt unsteady, his feet unable to grip the uneven ground. After a few weeks of doing these simple toe exercises, he came back and told me he felt like his feet had woken up. He felt more connected to the ground, more stable on those rocks. That's the power of this exercise. The red flag to watch for is, again, severe cramping. If you do cramp, gently stretch your toes back the other way. By practicing these spreads and curls, you are improving fine motor control, which directly translates to better balance and a more stable, confident stride in your everyday life. We've now worked on the ankle, the arch, and the small muscles of the toes. This is fantastic foundational work. But now we must address the #1 complaint I hear in my clinic, the issue that drives more people to see a podiatrist than almost anything else. That sharp, stabbing pain in the heel, especially with the first steps in the morning. This brings us to our second and critically important stretch, the direct plantar fascia stretch. The plantar fascia is a thick, web-like ligament that connects your heel to the front of your foot. It acts like a shock absorber and supports the arch. As we sleep, our feet are often in a relaxed, pointed position, which allows this fascia to shorten and tighten overnight. Then, when you place your full body weight on it first thing in the morning, that tight, shortened band is suddenly and violently stretched, causing micro tears and that infamous sharp pain. So this next stretch, which the Mayo Clinic Health System often recommends for its direct effectiveness, is your new best friend before you even get out of bed. You can do it while you're still sitting on the edge of the mattress. Sit down and cross one leg over the opposite knee so you can easily reach your foot. Now, take your hand and gently grab your toes. I want you to slowly and steadily pull your toes back towards your shin. You should feel a distinct stretching sensation along the entire bottom of your foot, from the ball of the foot right back into the arch and heel. That is the plantar fascia. Hold this stretch for about 30 seconds. Don't bounce. Just hold a steady, gentle pull. Relax for a moment, and then repeat it 2 more times. Then, Switch legs and do the same for the other foot. By pre-stretching this ligament before you put weight on it, you are essentially warming it up and preparing it for the day's work. You are preventing that sudden, painful shock. This one simple habit can transform your mornings from a time of pain and dread into a much more comfortable transition into your day. The red flag is if the stretch itself causes sharp, stabbing pain rather than a strong stretching sensation. If that happens, ease off and consult a professional, as there could be another issue at play, like a heel spur that's being aggravated. This stretch is a targeted solution for one of the most common and frustrating forms of foot pain, and its power lies in its simplicity and consistency. And that brings us to our number one most essential stretch for managing age-related foot pain. We've worked our way from the ankle down, but now we're targeting the master puppet string that influences everything below it, the Achilles tendon. The Achilles tendon stretch is our number one because a tight Achilles tendon is a primary culprit behind a cascade of foot problems. This powerful tendon connects your calf muscles at the back of your leg to your heel bone. When it becomes tight, which is incredibly common as we age, it pulls constantly on the heel. This constant tension not only causes pain in the tendon itself, but is a leading contributor to the development of plantar fasciitis. Think about it. If the tendon is pulling the heel bone upwards from the back, it increases the tension on the plantar fascia, which is attached to the bottom of that same heel bone. It's a mechanical tug-of-war, and your foot is caught in the middle. I often tell my patients, like Charles, the retired teacher from our earlier discussion, that you can stretch your plantar fascia all day, but if you don't also address the tight Achilles tendon pulling on it, you're only fighting half the battle. This is why organizations like the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons emphasize this stretch as a cornerstone of treatment. The classic and safest way to do this is the wall stretch. Stand facing a wall, about arm's length away. Place your hands on the wall for support. Now, step 1 foot back, about 1 to 2 feet behind you, keeping that back leg straight and your heel firmly planted on the floor. Your other leg, the front one, should be bent. Now lean your hips forward towards the wall until you feel a distinct but comfortable stretch in the calf and Achilles tendon of that straight back leg. It should be a good, strong pull, but never painful. Hold this position for 30 seconds. Remember to breathe. Don't hold your breath. After 30 seconds, relax and then switch legs. Perform this stretch 2 to 3 times on each side. The crucial part is keeping that back heel on the floor. The moment it lifts, you lose the stretch where you need it most. The red flag to be aware of is any sharp, sudden, or tearing pain at the back of your heel or calf. That is not a stretch. That is an injury, and you should stop immediately and seek medical advice. By incorporating this one stretch into your daily routine, you are relieving the primary source of tension for so many foot ailments. You are loosening the puppet string, which allows everything else in your foot to relax and function as it should. It is the foundational movement that makes all our other efforts more effective. So there you have it. 5 simple, powerful movements designed to help you take back control from age-related foot pain. We've talked about improving ankle mobility with ankle circles to reduce stress on the foot. We've discussed rebuilding your natural support system with towel scrunches and improving your balance with toe spreads and curls. We've targeted that awful morning heel pain with a direct plantar fascia stretch. And we've addressed the root of so much tension with the foundational Achilles tendon stretch. I want you to see these not as a chore, but as an act of empowerment. Every time you take 5 or 10 minutes to perform these movements, you are making a direct investment in your own independence. You are investing in your ability to take that walk with your friends, to tend to your garden, to chase your grandkids across the lawn, to simply move through your day with more comfort and less pain. The key, and I cannot stress this enough, is consistency over intensity. A little bit every single day will do more for you than a long, strenuous session once a week. Make it a part of your routine, perhaps while you watch the morning news or before you go to bed. This isn't about finding an overnight fix. It's about building a long-term, sustainable habit that gives you a measure of control over how you feel. It's about shifting your mindset from one of passive endurance to one of active, knowledgeable management. You have the power to make a difference in your own quality of life. Now, I would love to hear from you. Which of these stretches was the biggest aha moment for you? Is there one you're excited to try, or a type of foot pain you've been struggling with? Please share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Reading your stories helps everyone in this community feel less alone in their journey. And if you found this guide to be honest, helpful, and empowering, please take a moment to hit that subscribe button and ring the little notification bell. That way, you won't miss our future deep dives into living a healthier, more active life. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Remember that your health is your wealth, and you have the ability to protect that investment every single day. Be well, stay empowered, and I'll see you in the next video.